Hey guys, Tim Fraser, 5D Options here again. I'm going to go through part 2 of the vegetable soup in the cloud realm. So before this morning we talked about the SaaS services, software as a service, and I gave you the highlight of platform as a service, which is the next tier of what I'll call layering of the cake, SaaS being at the top of the cake, platform services as the next tier below, which is really the platform services that creates the richness of the ecosystem for developers to have an amazing unified experience. And platform services is really the focus of this discussion, but I just also briefly discuss the infrastructure services which the platform uses to be able to enable the cloud. A lot of language here. Think about it this way. We used to write software on physical hardware. We moved to virtual machines. We moved to virtual machines that can be elastic, which we call that cloud. We allow those services to run in private cloud or public cloud, which is the infrastructure. And then on top of that, we create a developer ecosystem so the developers can take advantage of these rich ecosystems that allows us a balance of flexible compute and network and services that can be virtually created and dynamically instantiated and terminated. Now, why would you need all those core services when you can have a purchase product in the cloud, for example, a cloud-based service that you might buy? Well, when you buy, you lose a lot of flexibility and customization, and a lot of the software solutions that you're buying have probably been invested in, hundreds and millions of dollars in terms of building these rich ecosystems where all you do is you show up and you turn on the lights, you run your credit card, you use your data, and you can basically use very rich application services such as Salesforce.com and Office 365, as well as file sharing systems and applications that you can buy. For example, HR systems and financial systems. There's many different business applications that are now becoming generally available for us to be able to use in the cloud. And those are your SaaS solutions, as I covered earlier. Now, what that does is, if you're looking for more flexibility of being able to integrate a lot of these solutions into your own infrastructure, so it's a combination of using software as a service on one side and infrastructure services or data center services, which is applications locked into geography, into a data center and running in a virtual machine or running on a physical box. So you've got to connect all these dots. So when you start building these applications or buying these applications, and you're trying to integrate them and unify them and create a seamless interface for the business to be able to use them, you need some flexibility. You need some tools. You need some capabilities. You can, be mobile enabled, mobile iPad or other type of pad device enabled, or enabled in a way that you could be, building an ecosystem that is primarily just APIs, and you can expose your business platform to your partners and your suppliers as API services. So creating a rich ecosystem that allows you to create these capabilities is really where the innovation occurs. Think about what's going on in the industry. Facebook, for example, uses a software as a service model, but guess what? They're using crowdsourcing models, so they don't own any data. All the data that's sitting in Facebook, we created. If you're, say, a Facebook member, so you're basically using their platform, bringing your data. They're helping you connect the dots, and they're helping you connect the dots with two different ways. They actually have built into their application the ability to link your friends, but also they have the ability to integrate with other third-party products. So you can use, for example, your Google account, your Facebook account, your Windows Live account, or possibly you can use some other third-party tools like Slack or some various applications you can plug in and extend Facebook to be a richer experience using for your social platforms. So in effect, you're creating these various plugins to connect to Facebook's platform. So they created a platform as a service. In reality, it's really a business service which is using APIs and advanced platform capabilities to be able to securely identify people, create a rich ecosystem, add content, host files, all that stuff is not just done through the click or the UI, it's also done through integration on the backside. So if you think about your business and you're looking to integrate your business with cloud systems and you're buying a product and you're integrating it with the data center, how are you going to mix these pieces together and make it look like a unified experience? When you're on Facebook, you don't realize a lot of your content is being shared out with other applications that you use a little bit of your identity data, might create some profile data, using a lot of your information to create analytics and demographics about your use cases, about how you're interacting with the system, and how do you, what's your behavior. So connecting the dots and using these systems allows you to, in effect, take this analytics information and now use that for stronger business development. You may find new business markets. So the platform as a service product, which is really the nomenclature in the industry, is this layer that sits in between a fully customized product on the software. Fully customized product on the infrastructure or data center that's highly proprietary and built in, to all the way flexible on the other side, which is the software as a service, and it bridges the two. It allows you to really create a rich ecosystem. And the reason why is because a lot of the business wants IT to be very flexible, to connect the dots. They just want to buy products. They want to be able to do this integration dynamically and create a link between the data and create a rich unified experience for their clients, their customers, their partners. And the platform tool allows the flexibility to do that. So this is what platform as a service is all about. And if you go one step further, and I would like to extend this conversation to describe infrastructure as a service. At the end of the day, infrastructure as a service is really all about just core compute, storage, network, and a place to run your stuff. No one's building data centers anymore in a large scale. You may find the very large companies that are doing that. A lot of the companies can't afford to build and operate data centers at scale. And a lot of the companies that I have certainly been involved in, they're revisiting their data center strategy and looking at how can we build data centers in places that are geographically aligned to where the business is. And the truth is, they can't. There is no economics in physically building equipment and data centers unless you have a need to do that for regulatory or government or control purposes, where you in effect are putting your data center closest to your users because you've got a network latency problem, or the applications cannot run over a network that's too slow, or you've got to do it for regulatory or government control reasons, and you want to put your data closest to that. That's when you start looking at, well, maybe we're going to need some data centers. Data centers aren't all going away. It's just about, as a trajectory, more companies are going towards cloud. 58% in the surveys that I've seen on with Forrester and RightScale and some of the surveys that have been done, companies are actually on a cloud and not only doing trials, they're doing a production workload, and they're using the cloud for regional reach or global reach to be able to reach further into where their users are or where the compute needs are. So pause on that thought for a second. So what leads us to building infrastructure as a service? If you've got a data center and you've got investments that you're basically building out your data centers, and you're trying to reduce your cost, and you're trying to reduce your trajectory. Maybe you're physically building too much and you haven't embraced the virtualization. You should look at that anyway. Virtualization is really here. But you also need to consider the possibility that as you start investing in new applications and you can't predict your forecast on your growth, you may need some elasticity. You may need to be able to burst out to use services, more cloud services, more infrastructure, more compute, more geographic distribution, and those platform infrastructure as a services can help you achieve most of those services without physically being tied into equipment and facilities and data centers. So in effect, moving towards IaaS, infrastructure as a service, is a start of that can be viewed as a cost savings, but the real reason why you do that is for flexibility and agility, so you can have market reach and you can have move data closest to where your applications and your business needs to grow, and you don't have the ability and the time to build those things. And you certainly don't want to buy servers by the chunk loads and ship them off to China or ship them to Asia Pacific or ship them to Germany. You can, each geography already has compute. All you need to do is use those services in a way that is most meaningful for where the business is trying to, what they're trying to achieve. So platform services are like a foundational layer that allows you to then do platform as a service, which then allows you to do software as a service. If you're in the software business and you're in the solution business and your business is about building a product for other people, you're going to need all three of these stacks to be able to do that, and you'll need to create those platform infrastructure, infrastructure, platform, and SaaS solutions as a unified product, but then create the rich ecosystem to connect everybody. Now, that's some of the drivers I've seen. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys. If those of you are watching, I appreciate those of you who have joined. Please comment, make some comment about what is it that you're. Why would you think cloud would be important to you or your business? Think of this from two perspectives. You are an IT advisor to your business, and you are trying to provide guidance and direction so the business can be more successful. Your leadership team understands how to make some sense of this noise. It sounds like it just sounds like we're just basically using virtual machines in a different way. Why is this any different? And why would I not just lift and shift my applications from one data center to the other and basically build out my applications in a physical or a virtual cloud in somebody else's data center? And you start asking those questions. Well, should I go private cloud? Should I go public cloud? Should I go hybrid cloud? And this is where we get into private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and there's variations and mixes of how you might deploy these services. And there's good reasons to look at various ways to this. This is like a toolkit. This is a Swiss Army knife. Cloud gives you the ability to do configurations and deployment in various ways. As you start building out your deployment services and you start looking at your cloud first strategy, your deployment architecture is going to be very important, because a lot of companies thought they were going to just, hey, I'm going to shut my data centers off and go to the cloud. And what they actually find is that they can't do all of that all at once. There are some companies take an all-in approach and they shut their data centers off. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Amazon's reInvent for 2016 in the fall, there was a video done for, I believe it was Condé Nast, that they actually moved close to 3,000 servers from their data center into the cloud, and they did a lift and shift and moved everything, and they shut their data centers down, and they moved all their physical machines and virtual machines into a cloud ecosystem with Amazon, and they saved some money, and they were able to shut their buildings down. Their motivation was asset reduction. Their motivation was also complexity reduction by moving into an Amazon ecosystem, which allows you to, now the networking is not necessarily your problem. You can use a network, but you may not necessarily actually have the ownership of the networks, the switches, the routers, and all that. You can use these as services. You don't have to buy them. You can move it's literally a cloud migration strategy. Absolutely is also driven off of financial motivations, like do you buy or do you just do you invest in CapEx or do you invest in OpEx? And some businesses are motivated by a shift of owning assets to leasing assets, which is really an OpEx model, and buying transactionally from the cloud, where you can buy only what you need when you need it, instead of trying to buy things well in advance of knowing what the forecast is and holding on to them, and then you end up basically paying a lot anyway. What's the benefit of doing that in the cloud when you could have done that in the data center? So these are the key tenets that are the business drivers that will be your motivators. So hopefully today's given you a feel for platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. And the next round of communications I'll do on another video is private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and by the way, there's a few more: government cloud, community cloud, cloud as a service. There's many flavors of this thing. There is going to be a deeper dive on that, but think about this. We need to, as IT professionals, be prepared for cloud fragmentation. Yes, I'm sitting here and there's some rain coming. And as you look at the cloud in the skies, you look at your clouds, and there's clouds everywhere, how are we going to unify our approach to make some heads or tails? Otherwise, what will happen is we'll just get marginalized by fragmentation. And we as IT professionals need to really think about that as a strategy for our business to protect the investment and have a governance program that keeps the cloud unified and together with an EA, enterprise architecture, and a cloud architecture framework. So when we do solutioning for our business and we do solutioning for our clients, it makes sense and we are not revisiting those investments. Or if we are going to be making reinvestments in certain areas, those reinvestments can be throwaways and they're small chunks, and you're willing to play and you're willing to throw things away because it's actually not, you're not spending $1 million investment for big enterprise tools. You're just buying small tools here and there, and you fitting them together in a framework where you can plug in, unplug things. So that's it for today. Thanks, guys, for joining live. If you are on, please say hey. Nice to see you guys on. Make some comments if you like what you had to say, what you had to hear. And next time on part 3, I'll talk about cloud deployment architectures and when is it appropriate to be in-house, out, or basically private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and some sort of a mix in between all of that, and how the data placement and the position where you put your data makes a difference. So we'll talk on that next time. I don't want to get too much away right now. So on that note, Tim Fraser from 5D Options. So hang in there. We'll keep doing these videos. If you like them, please thumbs up so I can see that you guys are enjoying it and liking it, so we can talk some more. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.